Hey y'all, it is the very end of November going into December. Very cold here, unusually in Zone 5. Here is the corn harvest of 2025. And all across the board, people reported animals just being more aggressive toward their crops than usual. I would like to report concerning the animals that there is an aggression issue, whether it is um, their territory being developed or whatever. I don't think it's just that. I think there's something in the atmosphere or some other cause that's causing animals to be more aggressive and come into more human settled territory. So, anyway, I had to fight really hard for this crop, as you know. About these three rows here represent the amount of corn I grew last year, 2024. And from those about three rows there, um, I got 2.5 quarts of corn seed kernels. This is glass gem corn, by the way, glass gem. Um, it is a hard Indian style grinding, popping corn. And it's called glass gem because it's shiny. Now, what you're going to notice is that in terms of development, these are less developed and these are more developed. Like this whole two rows here, I harvested them. They're definitely from seed I saved from 2024. Now, all the rest of it could be from the seed I saved from 2024 and planted, or the other 4 ounces of seed that I bought. Because the animals absolutely destroyed my 2.5 quarts of corn that I threw out there. That's a lot of corn. This corn should have been filling up my entire house, okay, with the harvest. But I learned a lot of lessons and about persistence. So, what I eventually did to help with the rodent problem, and this was specifically chipmunks and squirrels, they would dig up my corn. I've never seen them do like that before. Instead of planting it like maybe 2 inches deep or so, I started planting it about 6 inches deep. This corn grows very vigorously. It's like dinosaur grass, is a good way to think of it. I started planting about 6 inches deep, and I packed it down once I planted it. And then I put cinnamon, ground cinnamon, buy it in bulk. Um, put a generous amount of cinnamon on top of the soil. So it stings their nose and they can't smell the corn kernels. And by the time they're up, they don't bother them too much. But once they're up, the deer will bother them. So again, cinnamon and, just be persistent. So, okay. These on this end are fully developed. You can see the nice color in them and stuff. Now, as you pick them, and let them sit, they get darker and develop. It's almost like tomatoes. If you pick them when they're under ripe, then they'll ripen up for you. This seems to be what's happening. So I'm just gonna watch like over time to see how much color this side gets if it gets up to this. And the other thing that is see there was plenty of uh ears I didn't save because they were just absolutely undeveloped. But these are all throughout here, I would say pretty good to go. Down from here over is questionable. Some of them have like they get like a indentation as they dry. They don't dry full and hard and round. They get like an indentation in the kernels. So I'll have to germination test to see if they actually kind of grow like that. It's almost like your sweet corn. We get your sweet corn seed kernels. They're like very shriveled and dried up like a prune. Um, whereas the Indian corn kernels stay hard and round to keep their form. So I did grow sweet corn too. The raccoons absolutely destroyed it. It was just a very vigorous, beautiful plant structure called Ambrosia was the variety. They just destroyed it. So I need to be more on top of the varmint if I want to do that again. And surprisingly, they actually started coming after the Indian corn too. Not as vigorously, not as aggressively, but they did. So that's why some of this was hard. This got harvested, earlier than I would have liked. I would have liked to have just the corn stalks totally dead there, but they still had a little bit of green life in them. So now I'm just trying to set them out in the sun on a table, see under the skylight. Sky windows is what I have. Um, it's unique architecture, but yeah. So I want to show you is like you'll notice things like these ears. Okay, look at my hand. Okay, they're maybe smaller than the. I'm gonna talk about the fully grown ones. Okay, not the little ones here. Now, before I get into that, these are smaller and younger looking because they were planted later. Okay, and they were also planted in situations where I just started planting it everywhere I had. I planted in the ditch. I planted in like a densely planted mound. I planted after that mound grew up a little bit. I transplanted them. So yeah, one of the key things I learned is that yeah, corn will grow in the ditch, and corn will be transplantable. So if you have an extreme problem with varmint digging up your corn, what you can do is start it densely started somewhere where they can't get at it. And then once it gets, I don't know, about 6 inches or so, maybe as tall as your hand, then you can transplant it. I transplanted it when it was like 3 foot tall, and I had to actually stake some of it up. But this particular corn will grow roots off the each node. It'll grow like 3 nodes high off the ground with roots that come down to the ground. So very vigorous glass gem, very vigorous, grows up to 8 foot tall in my experience under good growing conditions. 8 foot tall. All right, so he said now you can see different colors here. It's all glass gem corn. Um, Now this may look like a bit smaller. We're talking about the fully grown ones over here. A bit smaller than the like sweet corn maybe you're used to, or some of the Indian corn varieties. However, each one of the glass gem plants will grow. Its stalk will grow like 3 ears of corn. So when you take one will be like really big, the next one will be pretty big too, and the other one might be a little bit smaller. But what you'll know is that each plant grows its specific color. So every single ear off that plant will be the same color. For example, this pretty purple color here, matches, and this kind of matches. You see another one over here and another one up here. Okay? What that indicates to me is there was at least 2 of those plants growing that purple color. And when you take into consideration that usually sweet corn grows 1 ear of corn per plant, you take something like this, this, and this, and you add that up, that's one big, huge ear of corn, even though the 3 individuals are slightly smaller. So it's actually quite a bit of corn. Um, Like I said, and so you can see something like maybe this one and this one came off the same plant. Maybe this one and this one came off the same plant, but they won't have something like the yellow one and the purple one and the blue-green one growing on the same plant. Every single one of those ears will be identical in color on that same plant. So, like, if you wanted to develop your glass gem corn to be specific colors, like, say you wanted to just grow, like, reds and purples, maybe you wouldn't save, like, the yellows. maybe you would eat them or something. And then you would just plant the purples and the reddish colors, something like that. Okay, so I guess that pretty much sums it up. So what I'm going to do from here is just let it go, let it dry, see how the colors develop in the sun, um, and do a germination test on the ones that are less mature and have like the dented, uh, slightly shriveled kernel seeds. All right, take care, y'all.